What's up, everybody? Welcome into a new episode of the Rapala Collegiate Bass Podcast, breaking down the first event of the season for the Association of Collegiate Anglers on the 25-26 Bass Pro Shops Collegiate Bass Fishing Series. That tournament was the Bass Pro Shops Big Bass Bash presented by Berkley that took place at Kentucky Lake in Henry County in Paris, Tennessee. On today's show, we'll have the winner, Jared Mizell from Tarleton State University, who are now ranked 10th in the Bass Pro Shop School of the Year presented by Abu Garcia. We'll hit on that a little bit later. First, Jared, just a little over a week removed from the tournament, talk about what it's like. Has it set in yet that you won a major college tournament?
No, sir. I don't even think it's set in yet. It's hard to believe. It's my senior year, and on Kentucky Lake, I really was not expecting it. They say it happens on the lakes you don't expect it to happen, and after fishing that lake as many times as I have over the past 4 years, I've never had something like that happen out there. So, but going into the week, we were planning to do something we've never done out there, and we did it. So it was an amazing feeling, and I'm still kind of waiting for it to set in.
Let's get into some specifics then about how y'all caught that fish. It weighed 7.93 pounds. It was weighed in day one, session 4, presented by Garmin. That session victory earned you a $1,500 Garmin credit. We'll talk more about the payout here in a second as well. But just real quick, you said y'all did something different. What exactly was it that y'all were doing to catch the fish that you did that weekend?
We were fishing brush piles in about 10 to 12 foot of water off of shell beds. And, I mean, previous years, we've just kind of focused on the shell beds or other things on the lake, but we wanted to try something different that maybe held bigger fish. And in practice, we caught several 3.5s, and Clayton, the buddy I was fishing with, he caught a 5-pounder in practice. So going into the tournament, we had more confidence in what we were doing, but we were throwing big worms in these piles just to get a bigger bite. And day one, I was throwing a 10-inch old monster on a shakehead, and that's when I caught that 793. And day two, I was throwing the Berkley 10-inch power worm, and I caught a 5-pounder. But we were just getting bigger bites, throwing those big worms in those piles.
What put y'all on that pattern specifically? I know I'm standing up there on stage weighing in fish as I talk to the anglers, especially on day 2, as I asked more questions. That day was Berkley baits only. I heard a lot more soft plastics than in years past, which made me believe that A, anglers were slowing down, but B, I heard a bit more discussion, as you're saying, about brush piles, offshore structure, rock, and things of that nature, and maybe a little bit less on the hard baits, where in the past it's been dominated by the Chapo. You're hearing the dredger and dime in terms of crankbaits and other lures, maybe some swim baits too, but this time, more specifically, it felt to me like it stood out that there were more soft plastics being thrown. What from practice did you see, or maybe had y'all game plan? Talk a little bit about why it was that you landed on the baits that you did and the locations that you did.
In the past, I feel like we were a little bit further along in the fall transition whenever we've been down there, like the weather being cooler. I still feel like when we were down there, it was still hot, and the conditions just didn't set up right for the moving baits. We didn't really get bit on many moving baits in practice, which made us slow down. Typically, we like to practice, we like to cover water, burn those moving baits, but we had to slow down to get those better bites. I don't think the conditions aligned well the last week or when that tournament was for those moving baits, and I just think those fish were more in their stubborn patterns than they were moving along into chasing bait, and they just wanted to lock down on a piece of structure and not have to work as hard to get their meal.
Yeah, that does happen, and it's kind of interesting. I feel like it's twofold throughout the year. I was always guilty of this, was whether it was pre-spawn into spawn, anywhere throughout the spring or now into the fall transition. I always wanted, whatever the conditions were, I wanted it to be happening quicker than it was. Like right now, you're right, it's still warm. Water temperatures maybe a little above average for seasonal conditions, and so where you want to go down the bank and burn one of those baits that we mentioned that's a hard bait, moving bait, and kind of fits that fall pattern for the time of the year that we were there at Kentucky Lake, maybe didn't really make sense, and it did for y'all. Kind of talk a little bit about kind of programming your brain. Like when you answered that last question, you did a good job of explaining it, but talk about some more like to kind of, you're not going against seasonal trend, you're kind of reading the conditions that are there, and it's not that far out of the realm of possibility that y'all would catch fish the way you did, but to know what's coming into the fall and how those fish would be set up and to not get ahead of them. Kind of talk a little bit about the mental strategy behind that and how you were able to program yourself to go out and have that success of doing what you did.
Mentally, I've always liked to just drag a big worm and be slow. I'm not typically the fisherman that just burns water. If you look at all my best tournaments, it's when I sit somewhere and slow down. So mentally, I'm already there to be able to slow down and grind for those bites. But to not get ahead of them, it's something that came that I've never always been like that. But to be able to slow down and kind of break down an area, you just have to have the confidence that you're doing the right thing and trust that everything's going to work out the way you intend it to be. I don't think we ever intended or expected a 793 to come out of that tournament. For me, coming from Texas, fishing that lake, I was not expecting it. So it blew all my expectations away, but we had the confidence to be able to do that and go hit those piles. That was the 5th time we hit those piles that day. We caught fish in them all day, but we didn't catch that 793 till the last time we hit those piles at like 2:10 in the afternoon.
Yeah, give us some more play-by-play. I always like to hear it. I'm sure we talked about it on stage, but let's get it here on the podcast. What was it like, cast to hook set to landing the fish? Was there any chaos? Did somebody did someone forget to pack the net? Did someone miss the fish on the first swing with the net? Give us a play-by-play from start to finish of getting the winning bass in the boat.
So I got up there. We saw the pile on Garmin Live Scope, and I bombed my 10-inch worm in that pile, and I was dragging it, and she bit it like a bluegill, so she just tapped it a lot, and then she hit it really hard and started running with it. So when I set the hook, and she didn't move at all, and I thought I was just hung in the brush pile, and the next thought was a catfish, and she didn't come up and jump at all, and I was kind of winching on her. Got her in the boat in like 2 minutes or so I got her in the boat fast. I thought she was a catfish. I wasn't expecting anything of it. She was kind of rolling, not head shaking or coming up to jump. And one of my best friends, Clayton, that I've met college fishing, he missed her with a net the first time, and we kind of had a little scare there, but once we got her in the boat, we were all hugging, having a good time, and we couldn't believe it.
Yeah, that's awesome. There were several funny moments this week on the stage, that week on the stage, as I was talking to anglers about, just the net man, the entire cast to catch. You never know what you're going to get, and each one has its own unique story. And there was some fun. They sounded like rodeos almost. Guys were having a heck of a ride trying to get their fish into the boat, but that one too also sounds super cool. That fish ended up winning the tournament. We're talking with Jared Mizell from Tarleton State University, 7.93 pounds winning weight for the overall Big Bass at the Bass Pro Shops Big Bass Bash presented by Berkley. All totaled, you tallied up close to $7,000 in prizes and contingencies overall. We talked about the Day 1 Session 4 win. That one presented by Garmin, got you $1,500 credit. Power pole. You want a new power pole, $1,000 Bass Pro Shops gift card, turtle box speaker, 6-inch Bob's Machine Shop jack plate, Bahio sunglasses, and a trailer valet hitch, as well as several other contingencies. Talk real quick, men. No entry fee tournament, coming out, getting the school year started with that right there, going home with a lot of great items. Talk about, the overall Big Fish paying out the way that it did and how awesome that is for you.
I just want to give a shout out to y'all for the no entry fees, everything y'all do for the anglers for this tournament and the prizes and the contingencies every hour. It really gives back to us, especially all the kids that have to drive 10 plus hours. I think our drive was 10 and a half hours, but I'm so thankful for all the prizes, but all the memories that were made throughout the week with Clayton and Cooper, who else was in the boat. That's what means more to me than anything. And what y'all do for us, I greatly appreciate it.
Yeah, memories made, definitely something you can't put a price tag on. I look back at my time now, and I hate to admit how long I've been out of school, but it's close to 15 years, about 12 now. And I was a freshman over 15 years ago, and to look back at the memories that were made then and how I still think about them regularly, and the people that may not talk to them as much as I'd like, or but I'm familiar with, friends with people on social media, and there's still a connection and some networking there that goes on from the time spent in college. And so, yeah, those opportunities definitely priceless and very, very important to capture in your mind and hold on to as you grow older as well. Along with the payout that we just discussed, Bass Pro Shop School of the Year presented by Abu Garcia, 1,750 points to first place. Y'all's next highest finishing fish was also up really high. So Tarleton earned a total of 3,430 points towards that Bass Pro Shop School of the Year presented by Abu Garcia. That was the most of any school to compete at Kentucky Lake that weekend. Took y'all from 25th all the way up to 10th. Talk about the significance of that tournament in terms of points for getting y'all season off to a very strong start.
I mean, it means a lot to the school, and it means a lot to our club. We just need to keep the momentum up. We have some guys that are headed to another tournament right now, so they can keep their tournament up or keep the momentum going. I couldn't make it to this upcoming tournament because I'm so busy with school, but it means a lot. I think we had 3 teams in the top 10, and we all work together and pick things apart together, and it really pays off whenever we all work together.
Yeah, funny you bring that up. That was going to kind of be my next segue. Was coming out of that tournament, each of the top 10 biggest fish earned automatic qualification in the 2026 Collegiate Bass Fishing Championship presented by Bass Pro Shops that will take place at Pickwick Lake in Florence, Alabama. So, 1, 2, 3. You're right. So 3 anglers, 3 fish inside the top 10 for Tarleton State. That's 3 additional qualifications to whatever else y'all might earn to get into the ACA's 21st National Championship Tournament. So that event at the end of the year is triple points. We'll talk a little bit more about the rest of the season here in a second, but to finish off the year, that's a goal for many of these teams, is to get as many boats and anglers qualified into that year-end event as possible to maximize the points earning opportunities, of which you guys are off to a very strong start, because just hypothetically right now, stay inside the top 25 for the school of the year, have those 3 at a minimum. If that all holds, you've got 7, plus there's 2 more events to earn automatic qualification throughout the year. Talk about the significance of that, too, having the chance to get as many teams in as possible there at the Collegiate Bass Fishing Championship presented by Bass Pro Shops in terms of maximizing the points that can be earned at the last ACA tournament.
I mean, it means so much. This is the best start we've had, I think, kicking off the year for our first tournament. We want to get as many teams qualified, and with the 3 teams that are already qualified, we will work with the people that haven't and try to get as many kids to that national championship for Tarleton and have the best chances of working together and pulling away a national championship win.
Sitting in 10th right now for the Bass Pro Shop School of the Year presented by Abu Garcia. Tarleton State obviously looking to continue that momentum, moving up in the rankings as the season progresses, as we're just getting started here for the fall of 2025 in this 25-26 campaign for college fishing's only all-encompassing national ranking system. Jared, what was the team goal coming into this year in terms of where y'all wanted to finish? Because I feel like in years past, maybe kind of lingered there around 5th to 10th, but when it's all said and done, maybe haven't quite finished off the campaigns over the last couple years historically the way that y'all would like as a club. So obviously to get up as high as possible is the goal. Elaborate on that and kind of talk about what the talk's been about amongst the club in terms of exactly what y'all want to accomplish with that number for the ranking system in front of y'all's school's name, Tarleton State University.
Our overall goal would be to win the thing, to win the school of the year. But we have some really good fishermen on the club this year, and as long as we keep working together, I know we can do it. It always seems to fall apart at the end of the year at the national championship. We end up being in the top 5 or top 10 going into it, and then we just have a bad tournament somewhere in between at the end of the year, and it really knocks us down. But I know we can do it this year or upcoming years. I know we have the kids to do it. I know we have all the skills to do it.
Team to watch out for, Tarleton State University, getting off to a hot start here this season. They earned the most points of any school to compete at the Bass Pro Shops Big Bass Bash presented by Berkley just over a week ago. 3,430, jumped them from 25th, entering the event to 10th. Coming out of that tournament, another points update to that Bass Pro Shop School of the Year presented by Abu Garcia will be released next week before the ACA's second tournament of the season, the AFCO Collegiate Bass Open, taking place at Lake Darnell in Russellville, Arkansas. So if you're listening, be sure to head over and get registered, collegiatebasschampionship.com, for that tournament to take place at Lake Darnell. Jared, thanks again for your time here today. Best of luck to your team there at Tarleton State for the rest of the season.
Yes, sir. Thank you.
Welcome to Minnow King. How can I help you?
Everything looks good. I'm friggin' starving, man. Been spawning all morning.
Ugh, TMI, bro. What do you want?
I'll take a Crush City freeloader and gizzard shad.
Anything to drink?
Water.
Pull ahead, please. Welcome to Minnow King.
We're gonna have what he's had.
Yeah, throw me in a net BLT, too.
Pull ahead, please.
Calm down. Quit feeding him so much.
Oh, yeah, man, I'm trying to, man. If you
If you overfeed him, he's gonna hide under a log.